and welcome to my channel. I'm Kay Ross, author, speaker, and booksperienceist. Yes, one who makes booksperiences. What's a booksperience? A booksperience is an immersive video reading by the author for you. Doesn't that sound like fun? I'm going to be doing some that are nonfiction and some that are fiction. This one is fiction, and it's about my latest novel, Space, Time, and the Shopkeeper, which I like to say is a rom-com suspense with a supernatural twist. Sounds fun, right? I'm looking forward to reading it to you all, and I could tell you more about the inspiration behind it, but I'm going to save that for behind the scenes. At the end of every video, I'm going to do a little behind the scenes clip thing and tell a little more about behind the scenes, what goes on in my head, and all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, and I need to make a little disclaimer. There are accents implied in this story. There's somebody from Taiwan, India, and some from Mexico, and I can't do those accents perfect. So forgive me, I'm just going to kind of not do accents. I just can't do them that well unless I practice a lot, and I don't have the time for that. So just enjoy it as a story. All right, and let's see. Make sure to subscribe and like and hit the bell for notifications because you're going to want to be alerted when the next chapters come out. So let's get this whole thing started for the very first booksperience ever of Space, Time, and the Shopkeeper. First, the dedication. To Lowell. Besides the original Christmas gift, you are the best. A girl couldn't ask for a greater love to walk beside on this journey through space and time. And to my goddaughters, may your lives and nights be continually disrupted by the one who loves you even more than I do. All right, Chapter 1, The Shopkeeper. Ms. Arona Caldwell was an amazing woman. She didn't think she was very amazing, but most people don't think they are. Arona actually considered herself fairly unamazing. Most of the time, she wore her hair in a tight knot at the nape of her neck, and her personality, that she showed to the world anyway, was pretty much represented in that knot. Tight, closed up, afraid to let loose and see what would happen with a little freedom of emotion. She also liked that the knot that she wore, and the glasses she let slide down her nose, made her look like the quintessential bookstore owner. It was the one expression of her flair for the dramatic that she let show, though she would never admit to being dramatic to anyone, let alone herself. But instead of just telling you more about her, I'll get on with her story, and you'll see for yourself. Arona sat, perched on a stool, at the counter of her bookstore, The Gilded Pages. It was a Thursday afternoon, which is of no consequence except that Watson Yang, whose name she knew because of his credit card purchases, always came into her shop on Thursday afternoons. She looked forward to his visits to her bookshop each week. He was tall, handsome, had immaculately cut hair, wore intelligent-looking glasses, a soft spot for her, purchased books on the most fascinating topics like wormholes, the space-time continuum, Einstein's theories, and interdimensional beings, and seemed to have a mischievous sparkle in his eyes, which kind of scared her, but also allured her. She wondered what in the world he was studying all these topics for, and what brought him to this little seaside village, at least every Thursday. Today, he brought his book to the counter and set it down. Time Travel and Black Holes. A tiny thrill went through Arona's spine. She had ordered that book on a hunch he might like it. She was right. That will be $15.34, Arona said. He handed her his visa. Debit or credit? She asked, as she always did. Credit, thanks. He looked her in the eye. The sparkle she knew would be there sent another shiver down her spine. She smiled and looked quickly away. Even though he'd been coming into her shop for 3 months of Thursdays, she had yet to raise the gumption to speak to him other than what was absolutely necessary. She was in trouble. Have a nice afternoon, she said as she handed him the receipt. Thanks. He smiled at her, took his book, and walked out the door, leaving the bell on the handle clinking and her staring after him silently. You are hopeless, Kunda said in her slight Indian lilt that Arona liked so much. Kunda had apparently been standing across the shop, watching the whole situation go down. One of these days, I'm going to write a little love note to him, sign it from you, and slip it into the book he's buying. Then you'll have something to deal with. Kunda was Arona's best friend from college who'd come to help Arona run the bookshop when her parents retired. Not long after, Kunda had also become Arona's sister-in-law. Arona often joked she had introduced Kunda to her older brother, Ethan, to ensure Kunda would never move away. Arona and Kunda were a good pair, like salt and pepper, sweet and spice, drastically different, yet better together. Kunda's petite frame belied her easily stirred, fiery passion. "You must get out of that imagination of yours and explore reality a bit more," Kunda chided while laughing. "Imaginations are so useful, though, and quite safe. What if he already has a girlfriend?" Arona tapped a pencil absently against her chin and then set about straightening some flyers for the town's 4th of July parade on the counter. "What if he doesn't think I'm interesting?" "You'll never know unless you start a chat with him." Kunda picked up a stack of books from under the counter that needed to be reshelved. "But what if he's a mad scientist doing experiments in an underground lab?" "Like I said, you'll never know unless you start a chat with him," Kunda said over her shoulder as she headed in amongst the shelves. The front doorbell clanged again, and in traipsed her brother Ethan and her 12-year-old niece, Sarika. Arona's face lit up. "Sarika, Ethan, what are you guys doing here?" Sarika looked up from her cell phone briefly to smile at her aunt, then went back to texting. "I came to see my lovely wife," Ethan said. "Not me?" Arona pretended to pout. Kunda reappeared and laughed. "You had better be here for me." They kissed briefly before Kunda grabbed another pile of books and headed to the back again. "And we came to get a birthday present for one of Sarika's friends. Employee discount, right?" Ethan grinned at Arona. "Of course, as long as you leave Kunda here for the rest of the afternoon, and she comes to work tomorrow, and the day after that, and yes, Ethan interrupted her. "If you can keep her out of my hair and give me the discount, that's a good deal all around." "I heard that," Kunda called out from somewhere in the back. "I love you too," Ethan hollered in response. "Yes, you do," Kunda replied. Ethan and Arona smiled at each other. The two of them were separated by a year and a half and had grown up doing most everything together. Many people had thought they were twins. They were both tall and lanky with ashy blonde hair and blue eyes. They spent hours together absorbed in whatever project they set themselves to. When Ethan went off to college, however, they took different paths. Ethan, the path of computer science, and later she and the humanities. He'd had no interest in the family business, except in its financial benefit to him in purchases and in obtaining a wife. He put his arm around his daughter Sarika, who was also tall and lanky, but with her mother's black hair and a beautiful shade of skin somewhere between her parents. Ethan guided her toward the young adult section, even as she tried to hide her phone screen from her dad's view. Must be a boy, Arona thought. Or about a boy. Arona knew only too well how much her brother would tease Sarika if he read it. She sighed and hoped Kunda wouldn't mention Watson to Ethan. And that is the end of Chapter 1, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all enjoyed that. It was a great pleasure to read it to you. Chapter 2 video should already be posted. But wait, there is more, just as I promised. At the end of every video, we're going to be having a behind-the-scenes section, which I will get to in just a moment, right after a very quick word from our sponsor. Hello, surprise! Yes, it's also sponsored by me this time. I started a company a while back called Widge, and it is what I use to publish my books through, other people's books, and what I can sell other fun things through too. So, every once in a while, you will see Widge as the sponsor on these videos. There you go. Yes, so today I am here to talk about an activity prayer journal for the bride-to-be. And this was a book that I wrote as a recent bride myself, and because I like to see people reach the fullness of their potential in their relationship with God. It is so powerful to tune into God in every season of life. And so that's why I wrote the book. It was a lot of fun too, to write. And it's something that I kind of wish I had had and would have been fun to have before I got married. And there are pages for prayers, for recording fun parts of her relationship journey, for reflecting on God's love, and so much more. There's 21 pages there. Fun things to do, and very meaningful, not just fluff. So there you have it. Grab a copy for all the brides-to-be in your life right now. And the link is down below in the description. And now we get to move on to Behind the Scenes. Welcome to Behind the Scenes. This time with Space-Time and the Shopkeeper. So let me tell you a few fun things about this chapter. We'll start with the dedication, because that's what I started with before when reading. The first part was to my husband, Lowell, and the reason he is the best Christmas gift, besides the original one, is because before we got engaged, he was asking me what I wanted for Christmas. And I said, "Oh, I want you for Christmas." And he said, "That's a very big box." And I was like, "Oh no, that is a very small box." And he got the hint. And on Christmas Day, he proposed to me in front of a frozen waterfall. It was very nice. So yeah, that's why he's the best Christmas present ever, besides the original one. And the other part to my goddaughters, you will, if you know me really well, and you know my goddaughters, then you will see that sprinkled throughout the book, there are references to them. And yeah. And then another part in the dedication that references my goddaughters won't make sense until you read the story. So there you go. You got to read it. Or listen to it. Have a Booksperience about it. Yeah, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's the dedication part. So I also wanted to tell you a little bit about the inspiration behind this book. I can't tell you everything because it will give away too much, but I will give you this tidbit right now. We'll get to the other stuff later in other videos. So this thing is, okay, so I was working on my PhD at the time. Not the best time to get a novel idea, but it came. Apparently it was the best time to get it, because I walked into the bathroom one morning and caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and it looked like I had a black eye. Did a double take. I did not have a black eye. It was shadows or something, but it kind of was like, wow, that was weird. And I started thinking about it like throughout the rest of the day and for the next couple of weeks. And why would a woman wake up in the morning with a black eye and not know how she got it? And that started the wheels spinning. And so I wrote, I kind of paused the PhD 1 week or two and wrote these 5 chapters that had bubbled up, and then went back to the PhD and finally got back to the novel, and earlier this year, finally got it published. Yes. So now that's the brief journey of it. So yeah, I will give you more secrets along the way as we go through this Booksperience journey. I think it's going to be fun. And yes, make sure and write questions below if you have any comments, thoughts, and I would love to hear what you think is going to happen with this Watson dude, because he seems to be studying space, time, and the shopkeeper. We shall see what happens. All right, I can't wait, and see you next time. Make sure to subscribe, like, turn on notifications, and share this video with all your friends so they can enjoy it too. Let's have fun together. And don't forget all the links in the description below. And there's also a link for my website where you'll find my blog and all sorts of goodies.